1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the High Performance CEO Show, your exclusive insight into the strategies and success habits of the world's top CEOs. I'm your host, Sebastian Schieke, entrepreneur, mentor, and business angel. Prepare to grow your business, enhance your leadership skills, and thrive in today's world. Let's dive in. Hey, welcome for another episode of the High Performance CEO Show. Today I have a very special guest. I'm talking to Jim Poole, and he's the CEO of NuCalm. NuCalm is an amazing company which is solving a big problem in the world: stressed people. And today we talk about the nervous system. We talk about brainwaves. We talk about how we can tame our nervous system, how we can get better sleep so that we can stay high performant and focus on our mission. So welcome, Jim, to the show.
Thank you for having me, Sebastian. It's a pleasure to be here. It sounds like a pretty erudite, scientific left brain discussion, but I trust that it really won't be. What we're going to do is elucidate how our brain works in a common language solely so that we understand how do we get the most out of us? How do we perform at our best? How do we sustain high levels of peak performance consistently over weeks and months and years so that we don't sacrifice our health and our longevity in pursuit of our goal? It's really the biggest challenge for any CEO or any executive management is how do we strike that balance internally for ourselves and strike that balance for our families and our business and our dreams and our ambitions and our aspirations. There's a lot at stake for all of us.
Exactly, especially in those times, in those very uncertain times, with all these challenges we are facing as a humanity. And using something like NuCalm, which I also personally use for a long time now, and I love it, using this and not relying on drugs and or other things like alcohol or whatever people take to calm down and to try to relax, right?
Yeah. No, it's never easy to start any podcast talking about the doom and gloom of the human race. But if you take a step back and breathe and reflect on the trajectory of the last couple decades, you'll probably come to the same conclusion we have. The human race appears to be in a race to erase the human race.
Yeah.
Why? And a lot of this has to do, there's a lot of reasons why we're having the highest stress we've ever had. But before COVID, we as a humanity were experiencing the second great age of anxiety. The first one, Sebastian, was post-World War I, when what we thought was normal in the world as we shaped it was not really there anymore. There's a lot of uncertainty. That uncertainty challenges our central nervous system, and it creates a low level of just constant anxiety. Before COVID, we were experiencing the second great age of anxiety. Now, you could speculate as to why. Our food supply for years has been filled with neurotoxins and excitatory neurotransmitters and preservatives, and we're not getting the balanced amino acids we need for good health in our food. This is probably the biggest culprit. This technology, for all of its, amazing help in creating convenience, it also disempowers us, right? We're not thinking as much as we used to, but it's really the trigger. And probably the biggest alarming aspect of the advent and acceleration of technology is the dopamine elicitation in our children around social media. Literally, when a child, I've got 3 girls, does a post and they get likes, it elicits dopamine, much like cocaine. So that's a big challenge. And what you find is, especially as a CEO is really fascinating because when they achieve some level of consciousness, they realize they don't really control anything. But before they reach that level, they want to control.
They try to control everything, yes.
So if you want to try to control everything and you have access to a mobile device that can do global connectivity, this is really going to challenge your discipline not to be on it all the time. It took me years. So I've been running this global neuroscience company for 14 years, and I travel all over the world. And it took me years to realize, wait a second, I'd be traveling somewhere, maybe the Middle East or Asia, and my phone would ring all night because we're global and we're an American-based company. And it literally took me years to realize, wait a second, why am I empowering strangers to have an impact on my sleep when I know the value of my sleep? So finally, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, my phone is off when I travel. When I'm done with my day and my night, and I say goodnight to my kids and my wife, I'm done. That control's not there. The second thing I've done for personal protection is I have no social media. What? Yeah, that's right. If you want to talk to me and have a relationship with me, do the old-fashioned way. Call me. So we can have dialogue, but I don't have any social media. So there's no FOMO. There's no distraction. I know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do it, and how I need to do it. But to get back to the stress piece, the technology, the food supply, environmental toxins, geopolitical concerns. Geopolitical concerns have plagued humanity since humanity started. There's nothing really different about that. But we were in the second great age of anxiety before COVID. And then COVID, wow, that exacerbated everything. I mean, literally, when we're at our weakest moment as a human species, COVID comes in and says, hey, you think you got it bad?
There's more, yeah.
Check this out. So the stress levels, the anxiety levels, the isolation, the depression, the confusion, the uncertainty has never been more profound. And as a CEO, that's just what we'd call an exogenous variable. We don't control that aspect, but we live with that aspect. We live with inflation. We live with the geopolitical stuff. We live with the global economics of today. We live with, stuff happening in Ukraine that's going to affect the wheat supply. There's a lot of variables that we have no control over, but we have to pay attention to it because it could have a dramatic impact on our business, to whatever business that is. Yeah. So the key here, Sebastian, is simple. We have to get our stress in check. That is the key.
We can only control how we react to these.
That's it. Yeah. What's interesting about stress, there's no CEO that I've ever met that didn't have a high intellect and a high drive. But the human brain appears to be wholly incapable of understanding intangibles. If I can't see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, hear it, is it real? Now, intuitively, we know stress is real. In the research, we see stress causes 95% of all diseases, but we're never told why. They never connect the dots for us.
And this is a very important number, 95% of all diseases. It's generated by stress, which we can do something against it. That's just the important message.
And what's fascinating is on my death certificate, it's not going to say Mr. Poole died of stress. No, it's deductive reasoning. Mr. Poole died of cardiovascular disease or cancer or irritable bowel syndrome caused by stress. There really needs to be the cause and effect on the death certificate, because if you look at everybody's death certificate for the past 100 years, it's all caused by stress. Now, intuitively, we know that when we're stressed, we're not performing at our best. Our team members know it. Our customers know it. Our supply chain knows it. Our board of directors know it. Our stockholders know it. We think that they don't know it. Isn't that funny? We think, I'll fake it till I make it. Everybody knows because we're human. We pick up on energy. We know moods. We know, So when we're stressed as a leader, we're impatient. We're judgmental. We're critical of ourselves and others. We're not thinking clearly. So how does this all work? We're going to talk a little neuroscience here for a second, a little brain piece. So there are two elements of our brain that we kind of are battling for our resources every minute of every hour of every day. And these resources, it's not time. Time is not the currency that the brain operates in. It's not money. It's oxygen-rich red blood. That is the currency with which the brain operates. And there are two areas of our brain that are in constant kind of battle for that resource. There's the primordial midbrain, otherwise known as the reptile brain. Doesn't sound that advanced because it's not. It's not advanced in consciousness. It is exceptionally sophisticated in survival. This aspect of our brain, which is the temporal region right here, It's governed by an amygdala. Some people have heard of the amygdala. It's an almond-shaped piece of our midbrain. So you could make the supposition that all humans are managed by an almond, and you would be accurate, and it's true. This aspect of our brain governs fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. I'll repeat that. Fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. Why do I repeat that? Because we deal with those aspects of our brain every single day.
Every day, and it's controlling us.
Controlling us. The second thing that the amygdala manages is fight, flight, or freeze. And this area of our brain, the circuitry began what people would say 40 million years ago. 40 million years of circuitry, figuring this out and refining. This is a perfectly architected circuitry of our brain that knows exactly what to do, when to do it.
And back then, so interrupt you, back then it was important because then, we had to deal with big animals, with really dangerous situations where we needed this fight and flight.
Yes.
But now we don't have anymore, but it's still controlling us. And this is the important message which everyone needs to understand. And we are still controlled by a brain which was sort of developed 40 million years ago.
Yes. And this is pivotal for us to understand this. Because when we do understand this, we have the humility to know we're not really as much in control of ourselves as we thought. You're not overriding 4 million years of neuronal circuitry. This is a perfected system. Now, the second aspect of our brain, and where we kind of, this is what separates us from primates, is our prefrontal and frontal cortex, our forehead. This area of our brain is filled with neurons and information and neuronal circuitry and cognition. This is our patience, our presence, our character, our personality, our executive functioning, our logic, and our emotion. Yeah, that's where we want blood flow here. We want to be present. I want to think through tough situations as a CEO with all the resources that my experience and my patience and my ability to solve complex problems is right here. That is the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And I want this to be very clear. This part of our brain has a 4 million year of evolution. So we battle every day. Fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry, fight, flight, or freeze, has a 36 million year head start on our patience, our presence, our character. And the currency that it's battling over is oxygen-rich red blood. So this is really foundational for understanding, because when we know the landscape, the chessboard of how our brain works, it allows us to be less self-critical and less judgmental of others. Because now we know I'm not a fatalist. We work in a neuroscience realm. We're not fatalists, but we understand the sophistication of the brain, and we understand how the brain compensates and how it knows how to take care of you even when you don't. So here's the challenge. The central nervous system has one defined priority: self-preservation and survival. It must keep us alive. Now, the central nervous system has at its disposal your 5 senses and your intuition. Great. When it is triggered, when it feels uncertain, when it feels scared, when it feels in danger, it activates the almond, the amygdala. The almond says, thank you for the information. We are now going to take all the resources from your forehead and bring them to your visceral organs and mobilize to prepare us to survive. That's how this all works.
And if you take someone in our current world, where we're constantly bombarded with negativity, with news which are talking about wars and big traumas and everything, I would argue that this almond is activated constantly.
It is always on alert.
Always on.
It is. And we can see it. Think about how your life was 5 years ago before COVID. Think about how it was 10 years ago. Now, we don't need to be nostalgic and romantic and think it was amazing. Now it's not. That's not true. But everybody's on edge today. We're all kind of just holding it together. And that's where you see the behavioral pattern. you see the increase in violence or hostilities towards others, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about constantly being overloaded in the amygdala and what's called the autonomic nervous system. And a couple of things that are important to note is the central nervous system, for all its amazement, doesn't have a filter to discern between a real threat and perceived threat. That's how phobias exist. It's an irrational thought, but the amygdala doesn't care. It doesn't say, hey, central nervous system, verify the threat. No.
That's a fake. Yeah, we don't have to be activated.
And it triggers it, and off we go. And one thing that's really important for us to know, when we are triggered, anxiety, worry, conflict, the blood flow leaves this part of our brain. We literally are incapable of thinking clearly with a lot of information because our mind starts going like this.
Yeah.
And the frequency of our brain starts going like this, which is a nice segue into frequency. Now, frequency and vibration is the world. Einstein once said, humanity is vibration. The world is vibration. Now, that's a really tough concept. You think stress is a tough concept to understand. Vibration's even harder. Everything has a vibration. This is wild.
Everything has a frequency.
Yeah. This bottle has a frequency.
Yeah.
My hand is oscillating on a frequency. This ring has a frequency. That's inanimate objects have frequencies.
You have movies on the internet, on YouTube, where every bridge has a frequency, and if you find this frequency and you march over it, you bring it to basically collapse.
Yes. Everything has a frequency. So that's a tough concept for people to understand. But one thing that's easier for people to understand is the human brainwave oscillates and operates in a frequency range of 41 hertz with 5 categories. And this is really important for us because when you think about the brain and the complexity, you think about stress, you think about what freaks you out, triggers anxiety, makes you angry or sad, it's confusing because it's a lot of gray stuff. But in physics and in frequency, it's not confusing. It's mathematics. It's right here for us. So that part I really like because there's at least some anchor we can stand behind and say, hey, at least let us start with some foundation.
Yeah, some evidence.
So the 5 categories of brainwave function, starting at the slowest waveform, is called delta. Delta, people understand to be deep sleep. This is dreamless-like deep sleep, the deepest levels of sleep. And it's the slowest waveform, oscillating down to 0.5 hertz with a big wave, slow, high-amplitude waveform. 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz is delta. So what's cool about this is that when your brain is oscillating at 1 hertz, it's not up for debate, Sebastian. We know what's happening. You're in dreamless-like deep sleep. When we go a little faster, we go into what's called theta, Theta. Theta is 4 hertz to 7 hertz, and it's synonymous with like a lucid dream state where your body is immobilized. Your body is really heavy, and your oxygen is going through your body well, but your mind is kind of in this state of lucid dream. Alpha is 8 hertz to 12 hertz, and alpha is synonymous with relaxation, creativity, being in the zone, transcendental meditation. And then the broadest range of human function is beta, and beta has several categories. Beta, 12 to 15 hertz, is low level. So it's Tuesday, you wake up and you don't have any coffee and your day is kind of, you're just kind of mentally lethargic. You're not asleep, but you're not really awake. That's 12 hertz, 13 hertz, 14 hertz. Then 15 to 20 hertz is called the learning zone. Did you know there's a learning zone? People aren't taught this. They didn't know that there's a learning zone. There's a specific frequency that declutters your brain, increases your ability to encode new information, clarity, comprehension, concentration, and consolidating to memory. I would like to have known this when I was a kid trying to cram information into my brain. I can't, stop everybody who's listening to this and think about in your lifetime how many times you tried to learn something or read something, and you failed miserably, and it's simple. You're free.
You're in state.
Yeah, we're not in the learning zone. So after 20 hertz, we get into stress, fear, anxiety, worry, expectation, overwhelm, and that's 20 to 25 hertz. 25 to 30 is a higher level of stress and fear and worry. And then 30 to 38 is a cognitive dissociation. What do I mean? It means you're not even accessing any part of your thinking. 30 to 38 is pure fight, flight, freeze, survival. And you know this, like when somebody's in a state of shock or near-death experience, when you look in their eyes, if you have that opportunity, it looks like you're looking at a shark. There's no cognition. Their brain is not there for them. Now, their ears can still hear, but they're not processing any information because all of the oxygen-rich red blood is in their visceral organs, and they're in full survival mode. And then, because the brain is cool and has a lot of nuances, there's a zone called gamma, 39 to 41 hertz, a very tight band and a very fast frequency. This is synonymous across the minds of meditators, monks, so high levels of consciousness, but it's also synonymous with high levels of physical, mental, and spiritual intensity. So your gross motor cortex, your sensory motor rhythm, your dopamine, your nose, your peripheral vision, your musculature, you're ready. You're literally peaking and ready to perform at anything. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the chessboard of how we function. We should be taught this. It'd be really nice if people taught us, how do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do? And how can we upregulate or downregulate that frequency? So if the chessboard is such, 41 hertz, when our brains are oscillating at a certain frequency, we're doing something commensurate with that frequency. It's not up for debate. If my brain's at 30 hertz, I'm highly stressed. I'm highly impatient. I'm highly agitated. I'm distracted. If I'm at 17 hertz, I'm focused. I'm clear-headed. I'm learning. I'm taking in information and I'm encoding it and making my brain smarter. If I'm at 12 hertz, I'm bordering on falling asleep. If I'm at 8 hertz, I'm really creative and very relaxed. If I'm at 6 hertz, I'm healing. And if I'm at 2 hertz, I'm deep sleep. Theta is the key for healing and restoration on a cellular level. Theta is the key to the restorative aspect of sleep. Theta is part of the sleep architecture. And when our brain is oscillating in that frequency range of 4 hertz to 7 hertz, our cells are doing their cellular maintenance. They're cleaning up the toxins. Our cells and the mitochondria of our cells, which is the energy source, is restored. So think about what your place would look like if you didn't clean your kitchen for a week or a month or a year. When you get consistent poor sleep, your cells aren't able to clean the toxins, and that is the proliferation and beginning of disease.
You develop disease. Yeah.
So sleep is really important. Sleep is not well understood. The science of sleep has only been studied for about 30 years, which makes no sense. Science has been around for millennia, and we've only been studying sleep for about 30 years. Isn't that honest?
No, I mean, imagine a couple of years ago, if someone only slept 4 hours a day, he was a hero, you know. Oh, I can manage to survive for 4 hours, you know, I'm the top-notch executive. Yeah.
And 20 years later, he's not a hero. 20 years later,
he's dead.
He has an impressive disease of his gut, and he's dying. So sleep is really important, and stress management is really important. And what's important for everybody to understand is the direct correlation. Now, stress, especially to a man, seems judgmental and weak. Hey, you're not managing your stress well, Sebastian. You'd be like, who are you? What are you telling me? But sleep is a lot easier. Hey, are you sleeping well, Sebastian? No, I'm not sleeping well. Okay. Well, we know the direct correlation. If you don't manage your stress, it is impossible for you to sleep well. It's simple. The hormone cortisol will create havoc and will diminish your ability for melatonin and serotonin and GABA. And stress has a cascade of negative consequences. And the more we're in that stress response and don't get relief or manage it, the worse we sleep. And then we enter in this cycle. And most adults are in this cycle. High stress, poor sleep, high stress, poor sleep, high stress, poor sleep.
And they're not getting out because they don't have the tools. First of all, they don't understand the correlation, and then they don't have the tools.
Exactly. So the tool that we bring to the world is fascinating. It's complicated. We're a 33-year-old neuroscience company. It took one of the brightest, most ambitious, intellectually curious neuroscientist, quantum physicist, 19 years to figure out how can I, in a safe, effective manner, help somebody tune up or tune down their brainwave. That's the avenue we took to help humanity resolve their stress and improve sleep. So we play in the arena of vibration, frequency, and resonance, and we play in the arena of using physics and mathematics underneath music. We're using your ears as a carrier. So people say, well, are you binaural this and this and that? I'm like, you're cocktail dangerous. You'll understand very little of the brain if you even ask me that question. Binaural beat is a mechanism and a delivery to present a stimulation to the brain. But if I order a pizza by delivery, I don't eat the delivery person. I eat the
pizza.
Right? So there are several ways to present your brain with a beat or a pattern. Binaural signal processing uses a sophisticated way to trick the brain, relying on the brain's natural compensation. Now, this was discovered in 1839 by a German scientist, which is incredible to me anyway. How would he have figured this out? But essentially, if we want to present your brain with a 12 hertz beat at alpha, we could present 500 hertz in your right ear, 512 in your left ear, and the midbrain gets this information and says, wait a second, this isn't right. It subtracts difference. So that's binaural signal processing. It's fascinating, but that's not good enough. What you're presenting to the brain is the key. And then there's another waveform called isochronic waveform. And that's a way to present your brain with a pattern or a beat through ambient waveform. Okay? So Dr. Holloway, his quest was to figure out a way to downregulate the stress response, working with people with trauma. People who are traumatized really suffer the worst fate because there are 7 diagnosable anxiety disorders, and trauma sits on the worst of trying to live with. And why is that? Their central nervous system, post the trauma, has lost faith in the universe. And that loss of faith creates a constant state of anxiety. Furthermore, the central nervous system, post-trauma, has lost faith in you to protect you from the universe it no longer trusts. Not good.
No.
There needs to be trust of your central nervous system to believe that you can protect you from the environment. So that loss of faith and that incredible uncertainty creates a constant state of vigilance, a constant amygdala on high alert. And typically that brain will figure out its way to drugs and alcohol. Not because it's weak, not because it's a coward, not because it's vulnerable, because the brain knows through socialization and through trial and error and experience that the alcohol and drugs can get me out of psychic pain very effectively. I'll deal with the side effects later, but I just need relief.
It's easy escape.
It's easy. So Dr. Holloway spent 19 years, which is amazing to me. And 14 years ago, I learned from him what he had created, and we took this invention and brought this to the world. And essentially what we've done is we've taken very complex mathematics and physics. It's all patented. The method is patented. We have the only software in the world patented to elicit a physiological state change in a human being. That's profound. It took us 6 years with the patent office to prove novelty and efficacy. People, humans, are easily seduced with what they see as an easy answer. Everybody wants what we call a silver bullet. Nobody really wants to work hard anymore. We're all fighting for attention, and people are starting to lose interest in actually even reading, okay? So this creates a ton of challenges, but the people today believe that if I listen to music, it can change my state. No. The brain is so complicated and so capable of finding patterns. Music is completely incapable of changing a human state. So if I am having a hard day and my brain's oscillating at 28 hertz, I'm really struggling and I'm really anxious and agitated. If I put on mellow music, it doesn't change my state. In fact,
What does it change? Does it change your mood? Because, I mean, you feel an effect. Huh?
it changes your mood. And even that mood is not substantive, and it doesn't stay there. For example, you go into the gym and you like to listen to AC/DC. So you build this memory pattern in your body, and you get to the gym and you put on AC/DC. And for the first 10, 15 minutes, you're rocking. But then you hit a lull because your brain has figured out their music all sounds the same. I'm getting bored, right? The brain has what's called the reticular activating system, and it is the most profound filtering system in the world. And it has two really strong capabilities: pattern recognition and finding shortcuts. That's why it's so difficult to trick your brain more than once. And that's also why there's no such thing as a second first impression. Your brain uses all your resources to identify everything, whether it's your first meal, your first date, your first trip to a new place. You're taking everything in a massive amount of information, and you're defining everything. So the second time you do this, you're already at a level of comfort. Your central nervous system says, hey, we've already been here. So music can impact your mood. It can elevate or it can decrease your mood, but it cannot change your state. This is really important for us to understand. Now in NuCalm, we use music for two purposes. One, we want you to have a nice experience. The physics itself sounds like this. Pretty sure that doesn't sound like a good experience. If I'm agitated,
I wouldn't listen to this for more than 10 minutes.
for 5. Like, no. So there's beautiful music. And in the music, we can add in different elements to create greater resonance and vibration. But underneath the music lies more than a gigabyte of mathematics, physics, and algorithms doing the work. And the key to Blake's brilliance and the invention, and then 14 years of continuous improvement, is that the algorithms are nonlinear and they're constantly dynamic. So the reticular activating system will never understand and figure out the pattern of NuCalm, and you will never build resistance to what we're trying to accomplish. This is
clever. Yeah.
It's incredible. That is the key for us to help people. Now, me personally, as a CEO of a global neuroscience company, I'm 54 years old. I've got 3 daughters, 2 in college, 21, 19, and a 60-year-old. I'm a busy guy. I'm a terrible meditator. I will not take the time, energy, and effort to learn mindfulness. I will die a bad death from stress and poor sleep because of my ambition and my ego and my drive.
Yeah, like many of our listeners, they're in a similar situation.
Yep. And we will not think about it because if I have a bad night's sleep tonight, or Sebastian, you have a bad night's sleep tomorrow night, you're not dying on Friday. It's cumulative. It's 1,000 cuts, not one. That's a big challenge for our brain. We can rationalize today and worry about tomorrow. That's not how you want to operate. No. So for me personally, I can share with you, took over this company. First thing that we did, because this was hardcore left brain neuroscience, we brought in the best scientists, academicians, and doctors we could find from Harvard Medical School and NASA, and the best, literally the brightest, and said, here, prove or disprove this. I didn't invent it. We built an advisory board of 52 leaders. We went through the FDA. We went through Health Canada. We went through the U.S. military. We went through NSF Certified for Sport. We went through patents. We did all this hard work through regulatory and irrefutable quantified evidence, quantitative EEG, heart rate variability, respiratory sinus arrhythmia. You name it, we studied it. But it was really the clinical outcome. So we were a single product, a single channel from 2009 to 2018. And that was what we call Rescue. And Rescue was designed to present your brain with a pattern that took it from wherever you were, really stressed, not so stressed, middle of the road, and it just gently guides you into alpha and then into theta. And within 8 minutes and 30 seconds of any rescue journey, you are in the deepest form of theta, and we hold you there. One of the cool aspects of bringing in brilliant scientists is you learn a lot just from the scientific journey. And I remember Dr. Chung Kang Pang, the world's preeminent expert on heart rate variability, contacted me in 2012, and he said, what we're seeing is 20 minutes of your product here is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. Did you know this? And we said, no. What do you even mean? They said, well, in the sleep architecture, Theta is the key. That's the restorative cellular rejuvenation. And what you're doing with this physics is you're taking my brainwave and you're holding me in the healing zone. So I'm getting a concentrated version of sleep. Now, NuCalm doesn't replace sleep, and I wouldn't want anybody to think that, because no, the brain and sleep is complex. But NuCalm is the only tool that we are aware of that can make up sleep debt, because you can't. So physics can. So Rescue had been used from 2009 to 2018, and all of this was a Class 3 FDA medical device, the highest regulated device in the world, and sold to doctors for $6,000. And it was clumsy. There was 4 components. It took 3 or 4 minutes to get set up. But we did over 2 million surgical procedures replacing general anesthesia, listening to our physics, with people being operated on. So you want to pressure test the physics of NuCalm, there you go. That's all you need to know. So Rescue was the crown jewel, and it continues to be the crown jewel, because in 14 years of traversing this earth and working with monks and punks and athletes and pilots and military and cancer and multiple sclerosis and every disease known to mankind, I have not met a single human being that's managing stress every day effectively. Period. It has not come across our doorstep. And we work with monks, mind you. So Rescue is a daily recipe, because what I've also learned is stress never takes a holiday. So Sebastian, if you look at your calendar from September 14th to 21, it's not going to say stress is on vacation going to the Maldives. No.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's increasing.
And it comes at you from other people's stress. They're like, here, I feel stressed today. Here you go, Sebastian. Here's my stress added to yours.
Here's my monkey for you. You know?
Here you go. So NuCalm Rescue, really important everyday use. Mm-hmm. And it's an immersive experience. All you need is an eye mask, a headphone, and the mobile app. And you select a rescue journey. You put it on. You lie down in a safe, comfortable place, preferably your bed, and nothing happens. Your mind wanders. And then in about 6 to 7 minutes, you start feeling your body slipping into your bed. Your body starts to feel heavy. Your respiration slows down. Your hands and feet may tingle. That's just blood flow. You may feel a little chilly because there's no adrenaline piping through your body. And your mind just goes and it wanders. Many of us dip in and out of sleep because we're sleep deprived. And then at some point, you just kind of come to, like the button on a turkey. Hey, it's done. No warning. You're done. That's it.
It's an amazing experience.
So here's what we've learned, and this will not surprise anybody. Military professionals, Special Forces, Navy SEALs, etc., they use this every day because their life is at risk if they're stressed out, uncertain, self-doubt, confusion. They use it every day, and they're ritualistic, and making a habit is not difficult for how they operate in their life. Professional athletes, we've been working with 56 professional sports teams since 2011, the best athletes in the world. What do? If something works for them to give them that mental and physical edge and allows them to heal better and recover faster and mentally prepare, hell yeah, they use it every day, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Cancer, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, addiction, ALS, you name it. That disease state and that fear, anxiety, uncertainty, pain, symptoms, stress not only creates a disease state, stress exacerbates the symptoms of any disease state. So they'll use NuCalm once, twice, 3 times a day, whatever. Pilots, very ritualistic, 1, 2, 3. The rest of humanity, we use it when we're going through stuff. We find reasons and excuses not use it on a regular basis. It's insane to me, but that's the way it is. So our goal as a neuroscience company was really, hey, we're really good at creating complex solutions to solve complex problems. And we have the only company in the world that pioneers this space for 33 years. We know that piece, but nobody cares if it's too complicated and nobody wants to use your product. So really, Sebastian, in the last 14 years, we've become social psychologists and behavioral modification experts. So you've seen it as a user of NuCalm. We're constantly growing, evolving, and we're simplifying, because we've gotten to a place today that in the palm of my hand is like a remote control for my brain.
Mm-hmm.
This device now allows me to regulate up or down whatever outcome I want at the time I want it. Now, historically, we were just rescue. You had to lay down, you had to put an eye mask on, and you had to go into that zone of bliss and recovery. But in 2018, we launched Power Nap. We did this because, interestingly enough, if I said to you, hey, NuCalm is the world's only patented technology, clinically proven to lower your stress and improve your sleep without drugs, exclusively available to the military, pilots, professional athletes, doctors, cancer patients, and now you can have it. This sounds amazing. How do I do it? And how long does it take? And I say, at least 30 minutes. You panic.
I don't have this time.
Panic. I said, I don't have 30 minutes. And I would say, you mean you don't have 1/48th of the day to take care of yourself? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. We built the Power Nap and took the concentrated physics of rescue and made it 20 minutes because for whatever reason, and there's no explanation, if I said to you it's 20 minutes, oh, I got 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have 20 minutes, you don't have a life. Yeah.
20 minutes. That's 1/72nd of the day. Then in 2021, we got really fun and got really ambitious and said, we've already mastered the expertise of down-regulating your brainwave function to alpha.
Go the other direction. Yeah.
Now let's do it all. Deep sleep took us 9 years. It's the most complicated physics we've ever created, mostly because we rely on isochronic waveform. We didn't want people to have to wear a headphone for sleep. So in November of 2021, we launched Deep Sleep, which takes you to sleep. We launched Ignite, which we've been using confidentially with the elite military and professional athletes since 2016. It's been around for a long time. But Ignite elicits dopamine and prepares you. And we felt like, hey, if you don't have a habit of rescue every day in deep sleep, we're just going to be the same as everybody else and we're just accelerate your dopamine. That's not good. That's not health and balance. So we launched Ignite in November of 2021. And then in July of 2022, we launched Focus. At that point, Sebastian, 32 years from the start of our journey, we had completed mapping the entirety of human brainwave function. Our science was done.
Yeah.
We did it. We're like, wow, we have completed the whole circuit of 41 hertz. We have 6 channels that manage all 5 categories. So that was the movement from just restoration and disease management and recovery to all of it. So that was the comprehensive path. In parallel, we took a $6,000 FDA Class C medical device and we moved it to a mobile device with a monthly subscription in November of 2021. Then in March of this year, because we weren't easy enough and we weren't affordable enough, we did our last step to the right direction for mass appeal. We made the price as low as 50 cents a day, US, for a monthly subscription and access to a channel like Rescue. And
it's a no-brainer tool.
No-brainer.
And work on your stress.
And all you need is a headphone, sometimes an eye mask, and a mobile device. So we are now globally accessible. We've been selling NuCalm to 97 countries for 14 years. But it was big, bulky, expensive. It was a pain in the butt. Now we can sell NuCalm to Martians. We can go to Jupiter to sell NuCalm. All you need is a mobile device and a headphone and sometimes an eye mask. So the key here is simple. Please, as a CEO, as an ambitious leader, understand the necessity to take care of yourself. Because if you don't, your body will have a consequence for you that you're not going to like, number one. Number two, please understand that there is no fake it till you make it. Everybody in your world knows when you're not functioning at your best. Everybody knows when you're agitated, judgmental, self-critical, exhausted, whatever, fearful. Spouse, your kids, your commuters, your team, your customers. You have to get this in check. And it's not easy. We get it. We've made this easy. But until you realize, wow, I really need to manage stress well, because if I manage stress well, I sleep well. And then when I sleep well, I wake up feeling rested and excited to take on the day, not wanting to be in the day. Many of us live in here with 5 or 6 conversations all the time. Many of us
Constantly.
Constantly. Many of us live as spectators in our own life journey. That's no way to live.
No, we have to be creators of our own life.
Yeah, you
have to take charge.
Be in your life.
Yeah.
Your life's going to end. That's inevitable. That's one thing that's an immutable law of humanity. We're all going to come to an end. Okay, but while you're here, get the best out of it. So you need nutrition. You need exercise. You need connectivity to social. You need relationships. But you also need stress management and sleep. And for us as a company, our quest and our mission, 33 years of sacrifice and persistence and determination and intellectual curiosity and trial and error and regulatory and all the stuff we've done, we simply are here to create an easy, affordable, and safe way for every human on earth to lower your stress and improve your sleep quality with no drugs, no side effects. I don't know if we can make it any easier, Sebastian. I don't know that we can do that. I think we've gotten to a place where, wow, this is as easy as it's ever been. It's as affordable as it's ever been. And now it's just a matter of, hey, you've tried alcohol, you've tried drugs, you've tried yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, deeper, whatever you tried. Try this. The predictability is incredible. And the fact is, there's no learning curve. As soon as you try NuCalm for the first time, you're going to
drugs
and say, what was that? How did that work? So that's what we're here to do. We're here to help CEOs be better CEOs, but more importantly, be better humans.
Better humans, yeah, exactly. So what is your personal NuCalm routine? I mean, how often do you use this during the day?
My phone would burn up if it had adrenaline because I'm so it took me about 7 months. I'm as guilty as everybody in being ambitious, in being kind of thought I was controlling things. My background before this was private equity, Wall Street banking, and mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, a lot of high stress level.
Yeah, high stress. And so it took me 7 months running this company. And I didn't do NuCalm Rescue on a daily basis because I wanted the health and restoration. I was 40 years old when I took over the company. Let's go, man. I had that Superman kind of mentality. Yeah. I did it for this purpose. I realized, wow, if I do 30 minutes of rescue, it repays me with like 10 hours of just incredible high performance, mental clarity, optimism. I feel great after I do rescue. If my schedule will allow it, I will try to do a 30-minute or a 50-minute or a 70-minute NuCalm rescue in the afternoon when I get up early and I'm a morning person and I love to get all the mental activity going. Plus, we're a global company, so I'll be doing a lot of the international stuff right out of the gate. But then about 1 or 2, I hit that lull. Mm-hmm. Like, I've got, like tonight, I got calls at 6, 7, and 8. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'll get into NuCalm. 70 is my favorite. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I select Rescue 70, I'm not in that zone for 70 minutes. Your brain knows how much restoration you need. I'm probably in there for about 35 minutes. And I get in my bed, and I'm so excited. I get so excited to NuCalm, and I just go. And half the time, because I've only been home 4 days in the last 8 weeks. I've been to Dublin and London and the south of France and Denver and Alaska and Florida. 4 days home in 8 weeks. And this is summertime. This is a slow time for us. So my body is kind of perpetual motion. I'll NuCalm and then I'll get up and I feel amazing. When I'm in my office, I have focus on all the time. I have it either with a speaker or with headphones. The speaker gives me good focus. The headphones gives me laser focus. So if I'm looking at contracts or negotiations, or I don't want to make a mistake and my brain's been going hard all day, I'll put the headphones on. And focus is fascinating because it makes your brain linear and literally tuning in to exactly what I want to think about. I have no distractions, and I lose sense of time. The full focus track is 47 minutes, and I'll be just working, and my keyboard's burning up, and and then all of a sudden it's over. I'm like, wow, that was 47 minutes. I'll stretch for a minute, whatever. In the afternoon, I'll get on the Peloton. I have chicken legs. I grew up as a wrestler and a martial artist. It doesn't matter what I do. My legs have never gotten bigger. I don't belong on a Peloton, but I need cardio. So I'll put on Certainty with Tony Robbins, or I'll put on Triumphant, and I punish the Peloton. I mean, I destroy it. My wife is convinced I'm going to have a heart attack. She's like, dude, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I just want to destroy it.
I love these Ignite tracks.
They're incredible. So Ignite is what brings you to Gamma. And in 2017, Tony Robbins and I trained the Washington Capitals together. That's Certainty. And then in 2018, he and I trained the Golden State Warriors together. That's Gratitude. So you literally hear this 6'7", 285-pound guy yelling at you with the physics, and you just go. So that's Ignite. I do that 5 days a week. Anytime I'm doing any physical activity, I have Ignite on. And then I'll do Ignite. Maybe tonight before my 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Zoom, I might do Ignite just to be really focused.
Get in state.
Then deep sleep every night. I haven't missed a night of deep sleep. Summer Rain is my favorite. Sonic S, my wife's favorite.
Me as well. I love the Summer Rain.
I love
it. You know what? Last week it was raining outside, and I still put on the Summer Night.
Yes.
It's in rain.
Yes. And it's just sleep, deep sleep is not the key therapy of NuCalm. Deep sleep fills in the gaps of your sleep, and it allows you to fall asleep faster when you wake up in the night, okay? It's the daily rescue and the daily management of your stress that changes your autonomic nervous system and allows you that sleep pattern. See, the correlation is direct. If I don't manage my stress well, I will not sleep well. It's inevitable. It's an immutable law. So the daily rescue and the evening deep sleep has my sleep. I was using the Oura Ring for a long time. My sleep scores were like 92, 93.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm only in sleep for 5 hours, but the sleep I'm getting is,
for 5 hours. And I also have an Oura Ring, but 95 is exceptional for me. I mean,
it was insane. And I just saw it just constant. And I'd see travel or circadian rhythm disruption, and just so the hours of sleep I'm in sleep aren't enough, but the efficiency. But I also get, as you see on the Aura, when you do NuCalm, you get a couple additional improvements because you had that restored.
Oh, you have a nap. It calls a nap, and then it adds your percentage.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been an incredible tool to allow me the journey of pioneering advanced neuroscience to a world that has no understanding of what we do. Challenge. No point of reference. If I tell you what we do, your brain gets paralyzed because there's no anchor. Your brain needs a comparison. It doesn't exist.
It starts with, you're changing brainwaves. Oh, I don't want that everyone touches my brainwaves. This is what I get when I tell people about NuCalm.
And it illustrates a complete ignorance of how your brain works.
Yeah.
Say, well, do you not drink coffee? Of course I drink coffee. All it does is accelerate your brainwave. You're constantly accelerating and decelerating your brainwave through external forces. Yeah. We're just doing it gently. So that's always been a challenge. And then just in general, the complexity of trying to map and manage the human brain, that's one challenge. The complexity of trying to educate. First, for 12 years, we served only the medical community. So our education was very erudite and very scientific. But even then, very few people understood anything we were talking about. Now we've transitioned to consumer, and it's really hard for us to take that vernacular and make it really easy to understand, because we don't want to lose. I never want to lose 33 years of clinically proven patented neuroscience. Because Sebastian, if I tell you, hey, we have a technology that's now in a mobile app that can literally allow you to manage your mental state on demand with no drugs, you'll say, that sounds too good to be true, and why haven't I heard of you? Well, because we used to be an exclusive $6,000 FDA medical device for the military, pilots, doctors, and professional athletes. That's why you've never heard of us, unless you're a professional athlete or a pilot. Okay, it still sounds too good to be true. We have to at least educate somehow, in some way. But the thing is, I just love educating people on how your brain works. I wish that we as a society educated people. I'd like to know as a kid so that I'm less judgmental of myself and critical of others. Growing up, if I knew how the brain worked and how it was wired, I'd give myself a little more slack, right? And then how do I want to do this? We have to find ways to manage stress. It's not up to me to decide for you how that is. It's up to me to educate you on what the possibilities are. That's it. We have built a possibility to help you take care of you.
Yeah, no, I love this statement. We definitely have to learn how to manage this, especially in a world which is constantly escalating in crisis mode. Constantly we have new challenges, and well, the next pandemic will probably be around the corner in the next couple of years, and we need to be strong. We need to take charge of our life, and using something like NuCalm is an amazing tool to do that.
So about shifting your brain's resources from the ulmen to your forehead and allowing you access to your character. I want to participate in my life. I love my life, and I want to be here today. I don't want to be thinking about what happened in the past, and I don't want to be worried about tomorrow. Worry is interest you pay on a debt you don't owe. Has never provided any value to the human being. Worry has never provided value, but it burns a lot of calories.
Yeah, it harms you a lot.
It harms. So NuCalm is here as a safe and effective tool that is now affordable. It's monthly. Some people it won't be important to. That's not up to me. At some point in your life, though, it may become important, because we're all going to go through life cycles of death and conflict, and that's just life. And we're here as a support tool for you, and that's all we are. I view NuCalm as a tool and a facilitator to help us be better.
Jim, thank you so much. It was a very interesting episode. I mean, I learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience will take so much out of this conversation. Quickly, to the end, what's next?
We're a very humble organization. A lot of companies build what they're capable of building. Well, we've already done that. We're very capable. But we're always looking at data. So I think the next realm for us, and where we get really excited, is taking the spoken word and putting it on top of our physics. Now, we've done it twice, setting the precedent with Tony Robbins and Ignite. And we've also engineered a whole separate product called Quick State, powered by NuCalm.
Jim Quick.
We collaborated with Jim Quick. So we took, when we built this, it was our 32 years of patented neuroscience and his 32 years of brain coaching, and we combined it. And what I tell people, and it's hard for people to understand, I said, listen, when people hear words, most of the time it's in one ear and out the other. It doesn't stay. With our physics, we can put your brain state into the learning zone. We make you permeable so the words imprint and change your behavior. It's literally a revolution in learning.
In learning, yeah.
So I see us collaborating with more stars in that arena of humility, of goodwill, of an intellect, of passion for helping others, and a message to say, because we can take that message and your vocals and make it a legacy.
Accelerate the message. Yeah.
That's what we're looking to do. So
amazing.
Constantly on that quest. I knew Tony for 8 years, and we did the 2 Ignite tracks together. I knew Jim for 6 years before I kind of said, hey, I think you're someone that we could collaborate with. So we're slow to date, but we mate for life. So who knows? I mean, we're about taking words and making them imprint on your brain, but it better be the right message.
Awesome. Hey, I thank you so much. We spent an hour now, and it was a very interesting conversation, Jim.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. I hope your audience enjoys learning about the brain, and at least takes away from this the necessity to take care of yourself, so you can be there for the ones who need you and love you the most, and they need you all the time.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Be well. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the High Performance CEO Show. I'm your host, Sebastian Schieke, and it's been a pleasure serving you. Please subscribe to our show on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your support helps us reach more listeners and create a bigger impact. Check out our website, sebastianschieke.com, for additional resources. Until next time, be bold, be exceptional, be outstanding, be a leader.